Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. And of course this is your astrology reading for the week. And I'm going to be going from Sunday, July 17th through Saturday the 23rd. And we're going to be going through the signs of Pisces through Gemini. So that'll be fun to look at. But wow, so much has been happening. Looks like another full week. So anyway, I will bring the camera over here over the table and get this going for you. Okay, hold on. Okay, so we left off last week with the moon in Pisces, and it's still there. I think we started or ended. I'm sorry, last week with like I think it might have been 2 degrees Pisces. I don't have the chart close by, but anyway. So we've made it midway. It's in this trine to the south node. So that's, well, there's so much going on. There's so much going on. With this moon trining the south node, of course, we are just digging in, trying to understand, trying to comprehend. You know, Pisces wants to get the deeper understanding, and with the moon we are all in this place of needing to feeling, and especially understanding, a deeper understanding of how we need to protect ourselves. And if we don't, we're going to have, you know, the government. So here we have the south node in Scorpio, which of course is the past. Scorpio has to do with protection, especially from crisis. With the moon, we're talking, of course, everything about women's rights. And then, of course, we have the sextile over here to the north node and Uranus. So, I mean, and we still have the grand water trine. Okay, so let's focus in on here first. There's so much going on here, you guys. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And then the Neptune up here to Pluto. And then this opposition here. This is the thing and this is in orb all week long, this opposition to Pluto. Okay, so, I mean, I was tuning into this earlier and feeling like, ooh, we need to be careful. Or somebody needs to be careful, because I was feeling like Lorena Bobbitt energy. You know what I mean? We have to be careful. There are, I mean, yeah, and then this other inconjunct. I'm just looking at all of this and getting a little bit concerned, to say the least, because we have control, the abuse of power up here with Pluto, the slowest moving planet here. Now, some people pay a lot of attention to Eris, but she takes 556 years to get around the zodiac. And she started, I think it was like 1920 something into Aries, and she'll be in Aries until, I think, way beyond my lifetime. I think it's like maybe 2040 something or 2050. Unless I live to be over 100. I don't want to. But if I have to, if I'm here, I'm here, you know what I mean? But anyway, so Eris energy can, brings up, and in Aries, it brings up that, you will not, right? The feeling I'm getting is like, you will not get away with this. And I feel that that's the backdrop here with this, the Saturn. So Saturn, the government, squaring both the nodes. Uranus opposing. So I've talked about this every week for months. This is the backdrop of government. So basically, do we want the government or anyone else inside of our reproductive rights? Do we want the government or anyone else inside of our health care? Taurus, peacefulness in your body, well-being in your body. Uranus is here helping us all, well, Uranus it creates a change to our awareness. It creates a conscious awareness of something, and we can see what this something is here. It is everything to do with honoring our own personal boundaries, our own personal space. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon wants protection, wants to be, it is basically like, think of the protection of a mother. It's all about nurturing. It's all about honoring what is sacred. And the moon has to do with, patterns of like the way we relate to life. And in Pisces, we're still, we're out there thinking, feeling, understanding deeply about each other. We are wanting everyone to be considered. We don't want anybody being victimized. We are empathic, however you want to, say that. We have empathy and understanding for everyone, and we know, with this connection here to the South Node in Scorpio, we know how it's been for women for eons. And we know what we've been fighting for our entire lifetimes. And so, again, this is all about what do you believe in and how much are you willing to stand up for it. Do we want the government inside of our choice of sexual partners? Do we want the government inside of how we spend our money and who we share our money and resources with? Do we want them making up those rules for us? Then again, we're going to be looking to the government for protection over financial institutions. We have that here. We are going to be thinking of new ways, new options to work around. Saturn in Aquarius, especially retrograde, is wanting to work around this polarity of the North and South Node. And Uranus is helping us wake up to new ways to do that. That's why we have Biden signing an executive order. I'm hoping he can do more, but he's, is a little slow off the. I wish they would have started doing something right back in May when the SCOTUS letter was leaked, when their intention was leaked. And that's part of, what we're all talking about now is with this trine here to Venus and Gemini. And Venus is going to move into Cancer tonight by 6:30 tonight. So that's really important there. But that trine's going to continue. So we're talking about gathering information, thinking outside the box with Aquarius, networking with Gemini. Venus is all about the feminine. Cancer is very feminine, and that's where Venus is going. Mercury and the Sun are already there, right? You can see that this double trine here. I should have highlighted that line in there as well. With Neptune trining, this is going to be in effect all week. We've got this all week going on, this opposition and this grand water trine. And basically we're being tasked with what do we want to hold space for in the future? Do we want to just lay down and be a victim? Or do we want to stand up and fight? And what is it worth, what is it worth to you to fight, right? With Saturn in conjunct the Sun and Mercury, we're having to constantly adjust ourselves and try to be thinking about what the heck is what are they doing now, right? Who are they coming after next, right? And you can see that square back here, this Neptune square. So Neptune can be deluded. It can be deceitful in the worst, highly spiritual and empathic in the best, and connected to source energy. So with a square to Venus, women are on high alert. And anybody with an efficiently, thinking brain that can connect all the dots, make the connections, and figure out where this is headed if we don't stand up and do something. And under the backdrop, under here, with these minor aspects, we can see, there's some action that needs to be taken under here. Yeah, with Neptune to Mars and Jupiter up here to Saturn, right? So, yeah. So this is the backdrop for the week. Back to my thought about the thinking outside the box. I got distracted thinking about Biden. But what I was thinking about before that was... And I love the correlations here, because we're talking water, being on the water and on the ocean, and we've got Neptune in Pisces and the moon in Pisces. It's been done before in Ireland. I forgot to look it up, darn it. I think it's called Women on Waves or something like that. But basically it's a big flotilla ship where women can go out into the water and have health care or abortions or whatever they need, because it's off the land and it's in some type of water space that is out of their jurisdiction. So we have women in America thinking of how to do that here, and they're working on it already. Meanwhile, Biden is protecting the federal options. He's doing everything he can to protect what but I wish he would have been on it sooner. I honestly wish he wasn't a devout Catholic, but at least he's standing up for our, right to choose. But wish he would have done more sooner. So here we are. We can encourage him to keep doing more. And you guys, please let me know if I've missed anything as far as things he's done that I don't know about, because hopefully he's doing new things every day. So feel free to comment and add things that you've learned and you understand. It always helps. It helps me. I learn so much from you guys. So anyway, this is the backdrop for the entire week. All week long, we're going to have Pluto opposing. We're talking masculine. Well, but they're both signs are feminine here. Capricorn and Cancer are feminine. It's just this Pluto underbelly of control. But then again, with the opposition, we're confronted, right? It's like having a mirror here and a mirror here, and we're both looking at each other going, oh, so that's how you think it is. Is that what's going on? Well, here, I've got something to say. Right? And vice versa. So at least the opposition that we can be working under at some point could bring a breakthrough. Oppositions can always turn into breakthroughs. But they're strong, they're strong, just like the squares and oppositions are they're major aspects. Major and challenging, right? That's why we have everything in the red, or I've got it highlighted in pink, but that's what the red lines are. Now, the blue lines are supposed to be harmonious and easy, but it doesn't seem to be that way. It just seems that there's a connection. But I'm all one for the, understanding the power of the feminine and the masculine that wants to protect the feminine. And I'm definitely one that believes that we are masculine and feminine, each one of us. That in the spirit world, there's nothing separate. In the highest realms of spirit, there's no such thing as one or the other. We're all just one. So I hold to that. So let's move forward into Monday. I might just kind of leave this, well, I can even turn the page here. I'll just leave this close by because I might need to grab it later. So now you can see that Venus has moved into Monday morning by 5 a.m. Venus has moved into Cancer. The moon has moved all the way across Neptune. And hopefully Sunday night, that's the only thing I didn't talk about, was the connection to past lives that you may come through meditation, dream time, or if you know someone that helps hold space for a past life regression, or helps you work through anything. All of that type of work is supported. You can see we still have the grand water trine. This will be all week. The moon being newly in Aries right here, and look how quickly it's approaching Jupiter. So things are heating up. But the moon is squaring Venus right here. So we've got a lot of cardinal energy here. And I'm going to definitely include Jupiter there because it's, we're just dealing with an 8-degree orb. So Uranus is still opposing the south node. This is basically like, no, we're going this way, and there's going to be changes. Mars is scooching in there, heating things up. And we're not going backwards in time. Women are not. We're just, even the crazy women that want to be, these evangelical Taliban people, they won't win. They won't win. So, but we have to fight. We can't just sit down and take it, or we can't lay down and take it, or we can't. We can't. We can't. We cannot. Yeah, so you can see this aspect of the architect here clearly, if I don't highlight the other things, so we just focus in on this, to Mercury and Neptune and Pluto. Look at that. So Pluto is about power. Capricorn brings in that need for manifesting power. And it's Pluto retrograde, no less. And then Neptune's retrograde as well, but in Pisces. And we're talking source energy that has to do with including everyone in that power dynamic. You have power over your body. You have power over your healthcare decisions. It's a spiritual law that you exercise your free will as an adult. As children, we couldn't, but as adults, we can. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 trines to this Sun conjunct Mercury in the later, very ripe degrees of Cancer, which is women and mothers knowing their power. And then, of course, like I said, this backdrop all week long of that opposition to Pluto. So forget about the, the power over. People having power over. No, not anymore. We will work around it until it's gone, until we, flip the laws back the way they're supposed to be flipped. So that's where we're headed with this moon conjunct Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter's there holding space for independence. Remember, Aries is everything to do with winning, asserting ourselves, asserting our individuality, and moving forward. But this was that kind of that Lorena Bobbitt energy I was feeling, and I was worried about impulsiveness. people acting out impulsively. So be careful out there. Be careful what you say. Be careful what you do. If you feel intuitively that something's not safe, it's not, and get out of there. Leave or don't go. And, I mean, I don't like putting a negative spin at all when it comes to a grand water trine involving, Neptune and the South Node and the Sun in Cancer. But we have, that the most, what's the word they were using? It's the Omicron variant, like BA5, it's up to 5, but it's the most, I can't even remember the word, but invasive was too strong. That wasn't the word, but it had to do with, getting in, right? So maybe invasive is okay. The most contagious would be the I guess a better way to say it, but that wasn't the word that I read earlier this morning in the news. So be careful out there. Wear a mask. Protect yourself. Cancer's about protective love. Capricorn's about thinking smartly when it comes to the earthly realm. Taurus is all about protecting our bodies and self-preservation. And with Mars moving in that direction, remember, by the end of the month, these three are going to be together, directly opposing the South Node. Mars moves quickly, and it's, we're only 9 degrees apart right here, less than 9 degrees actually. And so remember, Taurus energy holds, it's fixed, it's earthly fixed energy. Scorpio is water fixed energy. Aquarius is air fixed energy. And before we know it, the sun's going to be in Leo, that's going to be fixed, right? Fixed fire. So we have all 4 of the elements will be in holding. So holding space for safety, for truth, for love, for not going backwards into the past, and we don't want any more friggin' chaos, right? We don't want chaos. Scorpio can be crisis and chaos. Aquarius can be chaotic as well. Uranus can be chaotic. And then we've got this fiery cardinal water. It's like steam here, like, you know what I mean? We have to be careful. So that's about all I have to say there for this backdrop again. But when it comes to the aspects for the moon today, I like seeing that the only thing we have a square challenging to is to Venus, and that's not so bad. Venus wants to unite, and in Cancer, it's uniting the family that makes its own healthcare decisions between themselves and their doctors, and it does not involve the government. It's a separation of church and state. That's the challenge here. But there's a beautiful trine to that, this fighting spirit, or I'm sorry, a beautiful square actually. Well, trine here, but square to that fighting spirit that will turn into a strength. It's a challenge. Squares are challenges that turn into strengths when they are properly worked through. And they, like in a natal chart, they require action, to work it out. Trust me, I know that one. My chart is like squares. I have grand square. I have lots of trines too, but yeah. Okay, so the trines to the moon from Aries to Cancer here, that's going to help create that action. It's going to support the action for protection, is what I'm getting there. That's the message I'm getting for Monday. Okay, and then for Tuesday, look how much we have going on Tuesday. Okay, so at 8:22 in the morning Pacific time, Chiron goes retrograde. The moon has caught up. The moon's crossed over Jupiter, picked up Jupiter's expansiveness and healing possibilities, and it's connected to Chiron, which was called the wounded healer, but it's actually, once you're in touch with your wounding and you've worked through the process of it, turns into your strengths. It turns into your gifts. And then from there you help other people with their, find their gifts and their strengths and so in Aries it's all about independence, your unique independence. And after healing your abandonment issues, after healing your impulsiveness, after healing your feeling left out and letting go of your need to be first, and you belong to yourself, Chiron in Aries, you're healed. And then from there, you have so much to give. Now notice that these three bodies right here are not in aspect. The only thing that has a little bit of an aspect here is Jupiter with this little semi-square to Saturn. And that's there, all week, holding space for this action that needs to be independent. Jupiter in Aries is independent energy that needs to be independent of the government and the man, the establishment, right? But that's already said here with all of this going on and this going on, because this is the backdrop, right? So Jupiter's there helping that. And then Neptune is there holding space with that right here, Neptune to the semi-square to Mars. It's got us spiritually fired up, because we know deep down inside that if we're not all free, then nobody's really free, because we're all connected. Neptune reminds us how we're all connected and we're all one. So if there are women on the planet that want other women to so-called do the right thing because that's according to their religion, and be they call it pro-life. There's no life to me if you don't have your own free will. So I don't, it's slavery. So people are needing to make adjustments and think about that. And it's further reiterated here with Uranus. See how Uranus here to Venus? There's another right there to another adjustment that needs action. These semi-squares require action. So, excellent. Okay, now again, with this Pluto opposition here, right, to the Sun and to Mercury. Mercury is newly into, at 5:30 this morning, newly into Leo. So now we're talking, Mercury communicates, Mercury's the messenger. Now we're talking with a whole lot more force, a whole lot more will. Leo is our self-expression. It's what we identify with and how we identify ourselves. It's self-confidence. It protects children, but it also protects, sometimes to protect the children in your life, you have to be careful about having more children. You know what I mean? Right? Because if you can't raise children, if you can't afford to have another child, why would you just keep having children and cause harm to the whole family because there's more than you can take care of, right? Yeah. Or maybe it would hurt your body to the point, maybe your body would not be able to withstand pregnancy, and then you physically could not take care of any of the children. So there are all these limitations that people are considering. And you can still see that aspect of the architect here. And the water trine that's holding everything. So yeah, so the breakthroughs are coming, the courage is coming. We're going to be seeing a lot more, courage. And with Leo energy, the hardest thing for Leos is when they're not recognized. So if women are feeling that their protective love is not being recognized, and the family's not being recognized, and their own will over their own lives and their own bodies is not being recognized, we're going to have major problems, because Leo is not going to just sit down and take it. That is not at all what Leo is about, right? So, and we have a huge Pluto and Leo generation, where, hold on, I have those notes. I know I have here. Yeah, Pluto and Leo was from 1939 to 1958. So for 25 years, Pluto and Leo allowed in that many souls. Pluto and Virgo, not so much, 13 years. Pluto and Libra, 13 years. Pluto and Scorpio, 11 years. Right? So Pluto, I remember looking this up before, Pluto and Cancer and Pluto and Leo were gateways for massive numbers of souls to incarnate. And we are here, not so much Pluto and Cancers, but the Pluto and Leos are still here holding space for that courage on the planet, that power on the planet. So that's what's going on out there in the backdrop. And personally, if you feel too agitated, just know that, take your breaks, take your naps if you need to, get your walks in, get your exercise in, however you like to move, because movement is going to be very helpful with all this cardinal and fire energy. It will be so helpful. And it will help keep you grounded. It's like the back and forth between movement and meditation, movement and relaxation, that it will all help. Sometimes you have to release energy in order to balance. Sometimes you have to rest in order to balance. So it's all about holding that balance in your body. Otherwise, it's not going to work for anything in your life. It's all an inside job. So with Chiron retrograde, let's talk about that for a moment. Even though there aren't any aspects to it, to that, or even the moon today, look at that, or this morning. I'm sure it's going to change, but for this morning we have a break. So I feel like the important thing here is to talk about the moon this morning, early morning, conjuncting Chiron retrograde, okay? So remember, when planets or centaurs or dwarf planets, or whatever we're talking about, whenever they go retrograde, retro just means reviewing, renewing, reinventing ourselves, especially with Uranus there in Taurus. Chiron retrograde can help us get in touch with, it can help us revisit anything that we might need to revisit in order to either heal, and that's especially true with Jupiter in Aries, or to come more into our ability to help others just by being yourself. Sometimes it's just through the emanation, the vibration that comes out of you when you're walking by someone. I will never forget this one time years ago when I used to do personal training in Manhattan Beach, and I was walking because I had to go down this boardwalk area to get to one of my clients, and I happened to be walking by this baby, 2-year-old or so, I would guess. I don't think he was 3. I feel like he was maybe 1.5 or 2, and he looked up at me with just never said a word. Of course, didn't say a thing, didn't utter a voice, but it was something with the way he looked at me with his eyes that was like, oh, like he saw me in that moment. And I saw him, like we saw each other. And I think I looked up at his mom after, but she was paying attention to where she was going, and it was such a fleeting moment that I don't think we really noticed each other. It was like me and that toddler, that toddler and I, and I'll never forget that. So that's a perfect way to explain what the communication of Leo energy from the heart connecting spiritually can do to a person. That little one affected me deeply. I mean, this was like, I don't know, 30 years ago? More? Maybe more. It was in the mid-90s. I mean, that was so long ago. Yeah, anyway. So healing by just emanating who you are is not something to sneeze at or to downplay. Don't downplay how powerful you are. Just being yourself, because that little one was definitely doing that, right? So Mercury in Leo is going to describe how we're how we're communicating in this next, it moves pretty quickly, but this time period, I can't even say it'll last a month. Mercury, unless it's retrograde, sometimes it only lasts 2 weeks. And I have to look and see when the next time Mercury goes retrograde, because I haven't even looked, I haven't paid any attention. I tend to just like, whatever. Here it goes again. Anyway. So, but Chiron retrograde in Aries is going to be an opportunity to help us come home to ourselves, to belong to ourselves, to be more daring, to be like blazing our own trail, being on our own path, and to move forward in our lives. And if we have any, any impulsiveness, compulsions, inner impulsive, compulsive type of aspects inside to heal, we will be able to do that. It's an opportunity for that. I forgot to look and see how long it's retrograde. I'll figure that out before next week. Yeah, I didn't get to that. But yeah, there aren't any aspects. So let me just go ahead and move forward into Wednesday. Why not? Why not? Okay, so Wednesday, you can still see there aren't any aspects to Chiron retrograde. The moon has made it all the way to 26 degrees Aries, and it's in a square to Pluto. And it's also in a square to the sun to Mercury, and then this opposition up here. So you know what that means? The moon's in a T-square this morning at the apex of Pluto and the sun and Mercury. So again, it's another day of the possibility for some heated exchanges. Now, Mercury in Leo will be bringing out, Mercury is always about the news and what we're learning and how we're communicating. Now, when there are challenging aspects, which there are today, we have two challenging aspects. We have a square and an opposition to Pluto, but the moon is connecting, and the moon is very good at connecting to all the different aspects, asking who's in power, who's in charge, right? Who should be in charge? I think we all should be in charge of our own personal lives. And if you're not on board with that by now, then I don't think you'd be listening to my channel. So I think I'm speaking for most of us here. But if you have a different opinion, feel free to drop it in. Let's see, with yeah, with the moon, that's it. That's the only aspect for this day, and it'll move quickly. It's just early this morning, but it might be one of those mornings where you're like, oh, got to get things done, and you're up and you just go. You're not laying around in bed thinking about what am I going to do. You're up, unless you're waking up early in the morning and going over your dreams, because there's definitely all that energy there. We still have that aspect of the architect right going on there with Pluto healing the soul through dream time and revisiting the past, whatever needs to heal from the past, right? To Neptune. Neptune in Pisces is all about dream time, spirituality, what we devote ourselves to. And then we've got that natural trine. We've lost the grand water trine, but we still have that trine from the Sun in Cancer for a little longer to Neptune. Very excellent. I mean, very, very, very good. Excellent energy for nurturing the growth of your soul, nurturing the healing of your soul through dream time and through any type of spirituality that helps you come into your authority and empower yourself to wake up to who you truly are in your body. In your body. It's not a disembodied experience that will help you realize who you truly are. It's in the body. So Jupiter is in this beautiful trine to the Sun, to Mercury actually. No, wait. Jupiter? 2 to 8. Though the Sun is going to be even more so as we go forward. So right now it's just one trine, but I think it'll be 2 as we move into the week. So Jupiter trine the Sun, Jupiter's healing, Jupiter's expansion, Jupiter's growth, and trining the Sun, there's a connection there to nurture whatever it is you're working on, trying to grow. It's really good for anything around the house, anything to do with your kids, anything to do with just growth, basically. Cancer is all about your emotional security, too. Once you know who you truly are, you have your emotional security because you're secure inside your own body, right? If there's any trouble with this opposition going here, there could be some people, which is a really good thing to work on, if you need to, and I think in some lifetime and maybe in every lifetime we all work on it, are issues of dependency and codependency. The Cancer Capricorn polarity can definitely be about that, right? So, and then with Venus newly into Cancer, then we've got a little sesquisquare there. So to the past, definitely people can be thinking about that. And then of course you can see this. We've got 2 semi-squares here from Uranus in the North Node over here to Venus. So waking up, enlightenment, awareness of being careful about enabling others who are not standing up for themselves, who are not working for themselves, who are not getting off the drugs or the alcohol, and they just want you to pay for everything and do everything for them, and they just want to, stay stuck, basically. That can be challenging. And then on another level, if you have someone in your family who's actually like handicapped, there can be a stronger connection with opening your heart to them as you're helping them. Because of this aspect of the architect here, there can be an opening, more heart-opening exchanges as you're caring. The Sun in Cancer, caring for someone who maybe can't care for themselves, right? Because that's what a handicapped lifetime is about receiving help. Cancer energy, consciousness is about learning to receive as well as give. So, but there is the heart exchange reception when you're caring for someone else, when they're vulnerable and you're helping them in their vulnerability, and so there's you guys have way more stories than I ever would in that in that situation. So feel free to share those. Those loving exchanges when you're taking care of someone that can't do for themselves. Because with this Jupiter trine the Sun and Mercury, and Neptune trining as well, there are so many possibilities there. Jupiter and Neptune is. Remember when we had that conjunction, there were so many people that got on the spiritual path. Now you can see the trine here, besides that T-square going on with the moon, we also have this trine to Saturn in Aquarius. So there's that connection to think outside the box, get some new ideas, and this is what Saturn retrograde is all about, revisiting some new ideas. Aquarius will have original thoughts, original ideas, and they will not like anything to do with, other people not being free, unless they're bigoted. That can happen. That can definitely happen. They won't like people not being treated, good. Right? Because it's about being human and honoring the humanity. And that's especially true with Taurus, Uranus, and the North Node. I think the biggest thing about Uranus conjunct the North Node is going to be people understanding how important it is to honor your body and to take good care of our bodies and to think more about our self-preservation. And that's the only way to have, blissful experiences is in the body. We don't get it by being out of body. There's no bliss in that. Positive, pure pleasure is in your body. So there's more about that, and with the moon sextiling Saturn, I think there could be manifesting more of that because people are waking up to that, and then with the moon in Aries, there's more courage to go for that. And this is just for the day, So okay, so let's go ahead. Oh wait, let me double check, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, no, the backdrop is still going on. That's a little sesqui square. I'm not going to bother with that. Yeah. We talked about the Neptune-Mars. Yeah, I'll talk about it now. Let's do that. Hold on. Neptune, semi-square, Mars. The moon's coming into it too later on. We'll be getting there. Look at that whole... Whoo! This is big. This stellium right here. And we're 10 days away from this whole, Mars. By the end of the month, Mars will be conjunct Uranus and Neptune. I'm sorry, the North Node. And I will do a separate video on that. But this is huge. And the moon coming in, that's all huge. And I know there's only one line going to the South Node, but really, it's going to be these three together by the end of the month, and the moon is illuminating the process already. So even though the moon's going to cross over and be over this way and up in here by the end of the month, it's illuminating the path already. Yeah. And how was that full moon in conjunct Pluto in Capricorn for you guys? How was that for you? It certainly is beautiful to look at. I had a couple cloudy days where I couldn't see it, but or cloudy nights and early mornings where I couldn't see it, but then a couple that I could, so that was nice, or has been nice, still is. But anyway, so Neptune, this can be a challenge here, you guys. If this energy isn't handled correctly, I never want to say, oh, there's only one way. That's not it at all. Moon square Mercury, the sun's headed in that direction, so I do have to kind of include them both. Yeah. Boy, there's a lot here. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And Jupiter is still, oops, square Venus. Okay. Don't worry, I'll bring this all together. All right, man, look at that. And semi-square up here. Shiminy Christmas. Okay, so the moon in Taurus is not going to back down. The moon in Taurus is going to go for what it wants. Taurus can be so beautiful for sinking in to what it really wants. This is about being secure, and then it's conjunct Mars. So we've got tons of emotional passion, power, pure feelings that are connected over here, but in a challenging situation to what's coming out on the news and our needs for safety. I don't think that there are two greater signs that are geared towards safety and security than Taurus and Cancer. I just don't. I mean, Taurus is all about self-preservation, and Cancer is all about security and family and home and our roots, protecting ourselves, not letting go, and fighting tenaciously for protecting those that we love. And then we have the the moon and Mars pushing its way towards Uranus, that's been holding space for this awareness and this deep awakening that needs to happen around the feminine and security, right? What we own. Well, we all own a body. We want control over our own body. We want to preserve our own human bodily rights. And then all of that, everything I've just spoken to, is because the moon's moving this way, it's opposing the past, and we're not going backwards. We won't be going backwards. And I feel that that's what this is. Man, you guys, it's going to be an intense week for human rights, for the news coming out that shows the abuses of power. It's going to be an intense week for coming into our own bodily autonomy and power. If you're not already there, you're headed there. And for healing anything that has abused that in the past, or made you feel not good enough, or made you feel like you didn't matter, or that you didn't belong, all that is on the table for healing. Wow. Okay, so that's Thursday. Let's see where things are on Friday. Well, the moon has crossed over. So by Friday morning, between Thursday and Friday, hold on to your hats, you guys. All right. So we have, so everything I talked about, that's still in force for this morning. But now with the moon on the other side of the North Node, and the moon trining Pluto, we have gained our personal power. And it's still conjunct the North Node, still conjunct Uranus, because, when you have a stellium like this, 3 or more planets in one sign, and they're all conjunct by, 1 or 2 degrees, it's all a blend of all this energy. So even though there's only one line here, it's bullshit because these are all trine Pluto. Right? Because they're all, here's the key thing here to remember. When you've got a stellium of planets, when you have conjunctions, this could even be just 2 planets together. When you have conjunctions together, they are alliances of energy and consciousness. So the energy and consciousness of Mars in Taurus that says, I will have my own security and safety, and I will take care of myself, and I will focus on how I spend my money and what my values are, combined with Uranus that is saying, oh, well, I just discovered something new about myself, and I just discovered a new way to, inspire myself, a new invitation to a new idea, to a new way to invent myself, a new way to be more innovative. And in Taurus, we're talking about safety and security. So that's why I've always said this Uranus and Taurus transit for, which is 7 years, is going to be a lot of new inventions for safety, around safety. Now, of course, Uranus rules the internet and online, so we're talking online safety and security. And don't you find it interesting that my computer program only put the moon trine Pluto, even though this is a huge stellium, but here we have the moon. Well, I guess it's the difference between 23 and 27 degrees, but remember, the square from Saturn, manifesting, government, mastering something in your life, freedom in Aquarius and Uranus energy, liberation, freedom, and the challenges of the past and what we want to move towards. But see those 3 lines there? That's a big connection, right? We should have 3 lines here too, but it's okay. So this is a lot of energy challenging the government, and this is a lot of energy and consciousness waking up to be the master of our own lives, right? Now, everything else is still the same as far as that aspect of the architect here to Mercury. I love this. We've got Mercury communicating deeply with Jupiter today. Those are healing. I love it, you guys. This is fiery healing messages coming in from your spirit, from the spiritual realm that is still shining the light here with Cancer and Neptune. And then also gaining wisdom from the past, because we've been there, done that, and then more into our power. Personal empowerment is what I'm trying to say here. Personal empowerment, your spiritual self coming through, reminding you that you've been here before in past lives. You've been here before, but now you're in a time and space continuum. The space-time continuum that you're on right now is new. And we're not taking it anymore, and we're all joined together. We all want you guys to have, we all want each other to have all the abundance in the world. We all want everyone to be peaceful and happy and safe and secure, right? We all want that for everyone. And the moon is sextiling Neptune, so more people are feeling that way. I love this. This is great. Friday, even though we've got a lot of, there's something there. There's that, you got to be careful with that Lorena Bobbitt energy going on, right? Because it's, whoo, look at that, right? Yeah, and here, I mean, be careful. Oh my goodness, Mars squaring Mercury. Yeah, okay. Be careful about what you say. Be careful about getting into any arguments. Be careful driving. Be careful, moving through time and space. But be in your own power. And if you have to be quiet with it and sit in it all by yourself, that's okay. Do whatever you got to do. Don't get, well, I guess maybe I'm just talking to myself. Can I just not get into trouble? Okay, and then Jupiter is still squaring Venus. That is from Jupiter in Aries to Venus in Cancer, that's a double whammy of that. Well, Aries is like 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. Oh, I got this great idea. I'm going to do this. Oh, and then, whoa, wait, hold on. I might have just went out there a little too far, too fast. And then Cancer is like, oh, I'll just go side to side and try it out, and maybe I'll make it there, like the crab, like Aries, the ram, but then maybe it hits its head on the wall and bounces back 9 feet. So be careful with impulsiveness, and be careful with going back and forth. Cancer energy is good for learning healthy boundaries. And Jupiter in Aries can definitely help you get there. So if somebody pisses you off or says something, for some reason or another you're angry, of course, don't hurt them back. But see why you got triggered. Take it back inside and ask, why did that trigger me? Is it because is there something I need to say? Or is it triggering something that somebody said in the past that I still haven't healed? Are they triggering me where I need to express something that hasn't yet been discovered within, right? Because bottom line, with this lineup going on here, we're learning to master an area of our lives. Saturn retrograde in this square here, line up in this T-square in opposition. I mean, this is huge. Until the end of October, Saturn retrograde is about, testing our boundaries, we're mastering something. We're trying to master something in our lives. And it's what we'll invest ourselves in and figure out how it's working out. And we're creating some type of structure and clearing karma. But we don't clear karma by acting out and hurting someone else. We clear it through forgiveness. And that's one of the most beautiful things about having Pisces energy here, so strongly held by Neptune, which rules Pisces, and this beautiful trine to the South Node that can help heal the past. So forgiving the past and moving forward. And then with this Pluto trine, the moon here in this really tight orb to the North Node in Uranus, we've got a lot of Earth energy here to manifest manifest our inner power in our bodies and just walk through life like that. Trusting yourself. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward into Saturday. And you can see the moon's in Gemini. Let's see, what else? Oh, the sun's in Leo. Yeah, we did that. That's new today, right? Yeah, that nth degree And I think I know some people with birthdays on this day. Yeah. Hi, Jean. Happy birthday. And Terry, my old dear friend Terry, I don't know if she watches my channel at all, but happy birthday. I think her birthday is on the 30th of June. Oh, wait. Hold on. Yeah, it was actually last. Was it last? Yeah, it was last month. Yeah, so forget about that. Sorry, Terry, if you heard that. That's right. Our birthdays are only like 5 days apart, 4 or 5 days. So anyway, but for Saturday, the sun is newly into. I didn't clock the exact time because whatever. It's somewhere before 5 a.m. Pacific, where the sun is exactly at 0 degrees Leo, but it's conjunct Mercury. It's only 8 degrees there, and every day it's going to get closer and closer, but then Mercury's going to scooch along faster ahead of it, so there's that. But for this day, with the moon in Gemini here, I mean, look at this beautiful aspect of the architect here. So powerful Pluto, manifesting what you want in your life, and then the moon in Gemini, gathering new ideas and networking and learning and making connections, and then opportunities over here to shine your light in Leo and be your loving best self, and connecting with other people who are like-minded, and you're talking about all these great ideas. This is an awesome, it doesn't look like a laid-back day. It looks like a good work day. Even though it's Saturday. But it's like that sometimes. Sometimes the laid-back day turns out to be a Wednesday. You just never know. You have to look ahead into astrology to see that. But so all the other backdrop transits are the same, and you can see, we're scooching along more into this stellium going along here. And I'll keep talking about that, until that transit's cleared out, but it's going to be some time. I think it'll take us through like at least mid-August until Mars is on the other side, but Uranus and the North Node are going to be kind of stuck together for a while, which is good because Uranus is good. It's helping us wake up and bring safety, more safety in. And oh my goodness, I didn't even talk at all about like gun violence, but everything I was talking about before about protecting children and protecting family, it's all right there. It's all the same thing. It's gun violence and women's rights and family rights, and the separation, most of all, the separation of church and state and government out of our bodies. I mean, they won't protect the children with gun control, but they want to protect them from being born. Well, so we're just going to be giving birth to kids so that they can be shot? Is that what they're wanting, right? I mean, it makes you wonder, like, what is going on in their thinking processes? And then it makes me remember, oh, yeah, that's right. Evil really is just a form of separation, and all of that is just really silly. To separate yourself from others is... If you want something for yourself that you don't want for others, there's something wrong with you. If you work in the government and you want to be special and above others, there's something wrong with you and you're abusing your power. So maybe Saturday there's a lot of talk about that, because there's some connection here that this could be a major news break here. Because of course we still have this going on. Like I said, we'd have it all week where we're looking at the power, and if there are people, as there are people, because there are, who have control over others, we're going to be fighting back. The Sun and Mercury is about talking about ways to fight back. Very powerfully. in Leo, I might add. Now, the sun is also trining the sun and Mercury here. Well, Jupiter's trining Mercury exactly. See that 8 degrees to 8 degrees here? And the sun is moving this way. So we're going to have an exact, next week, we'll have an exact trine there. But let's talk about for a moment Mercury trine Jupiter. This would be good ideas, very, very, I would say, powerful, willful ideas to protect children. And then with Jupiter in Aries, that trine there, that's a lot of movement. It's a lot of, so we've got cardinal energy starting something, right? Starting this process of a brand new beginning, and then to protect children. So I'm feeling there's probably something that will come out to some more support for gun rights, or some more news revealing those who have who are abusing their position of power in the government about that, right? I remember Cornyn, might as well call him Cornholio, right? Saying, "Oh no, we're done. They're done. It's done. We've already negotiated all that, and it's done. It's over with." Yeah, you know what? We're not done, dude. Nice try. Like he's the authority, but we do need Biden to get rid of the filibuster. We need a lot of people there to help get rid of the filibuster. And how about we have somebody commented, and I thank you so much for that, because it got me thinking and then researching about the 13 circuits we have. Why don't we have 13 judges on the bench in SCOTUS? Why don't we add 4 more and we'd have 13, and a couple are going to drop off anyway. Probably, for sure, Clarence his health isn't going to hold up. And Kavanaugh, he might just be taken out. And then maybe Amy Coney Barrett won't be so powerful, and maybe Gorsuch and Roberts will get an alignment. Maybe they're tired of having the security all the time. Maybe they're tired of being hunted down in restaurants. That's been happening, right? Okay, so what else for this day, for Saturday? Yeah, I think there's going to be a news dump. I mean, we've got the moon in Gemini, ruled by Mercury in Leo. This to me looks like a news dump that opens something up and brings out even more courage and movement. Now, Mars is square Mercury. That's not gonna be fun. And we got to remember, Mars is close enough to Uranus, and the North Node's the direction we're all heading. So there might as well be 3 lines over here to Mercury, right? To Mars, Mercury to Mars. Them be fighting words. Whew. Mercury in Leo can be some fighting words that won't back down because Mars is in Taurus. So I'm thinking it's probably a peaceful protest day with a whole lot of power. I am wondering if the numbers, because they've been out by, the tens of thousands of, every weekend. So I'm wondering if the numbers are going to increase by this weekend, because the power is moving forward. Yeah. Right? I mean, I look at this and I'm just thinking to myself, we ain't be having that no more. Homie, don't play that game. We're not doing it anymore. And all the other aspects are the same. So there's just, and there's, I can't say this enough, there's so much power into empathy for everyone. Even the ones making the mistakes of trying to have power over us, at some point we're going to have to forgive them. But that doesn't mean that we back down. We just say no. Right? We just say nope, nope, nope. And okay, so Venus, this one's drawing my attention, even though it's a sesquisquare, but this aspect here from Venus to Saturn, that reinforces this stubborn energy we've got going on over here. But I say stubborn, but it's just because my pea brain can't think of a better, at least in the moment, can't think of a better word for something that's actually really good, stubborn in a good way. Right? Because this is stubborn energy here. But it's in a good way because it's about honoring all that is sacred, and then even though we might have tolerance for other people and their other views, like if you want to be pro-life, that's fine. I'm pro-life too, but life to me is free will over my own body. To me to not have that is not pro-life. Right? Because free will is choice. And who the hell is anybody else to say what I get to do for myself to take care of my body, right? And protect my children. So, yeah, it's just hunkering down. Maybe hunkering down is a better word than stubborn. Hunkering down for protection, self-preservation, and gathering forces. There's a lot of self-expression here. There's a lot of people identifying with the truth that we are all, we're all connected, and we need to absolutely, take care of each other, doing what's best for each other, right? And then with the square to Jupiter, and I think this is the last thing I need to talk about, it's in a further tight orb. So this, moving into next week, Venus square Jupiter, that definitely, that brings in that fight for women's rights and protecting the family, women's rights and gun control. Control. Fight. Laws to protect the people. Control. Ideas. Speaking up. Connections. Networking with powerful forces. Hats off to David Hogg and all those other teenagers that, they're young adults now, they're not teenagers anymore, who are leading the fight. We need them so much, and they will be our future. They will definitely be our future, because they're going to help us all, because they're going to all be voting in 2024. Yeah. It's not just a blue wave, it's going to be a blue tsunami. But, not it won't take anybody out, except for the abuse of power. But with that said, don't sit back and not vote, because your intention out into the universe is still seen. And if you stay home and not vote, the universe sees that. And that makes you apathetic and complicit, and that's a form of separation from your fellow human beings. And we don't ever want to be that way. So there I am on my soapbox again. So I'm going to step back, send you lots of love and big hugs. Hopefully I haven't haven't just, driven you nuts saying the same thing over and over and over again, but this is what I'm seeing, and I don't know how else to give voice to it. If there are any other astrologers out there that are getting something else, as long as it's respectful to us other humans here, please put your comments in if I've missed anything, or I'm just seeing this very one-sided. But I'm seeing that, to sum this all up, I'm only seeing the empowerment of human individual rights and the safety for protecting our children now and in the future, and the grieving of those that we have lost, the protection around COVID, and then self-preservation and honoring, especially the feminine reproductive rights. That's what I'm seeing. But if you guys are seeing anything else besides all the beautiful aspects to manifest, let me know. Okay? All right. Well, thanks so much, you guys. Take good care. Bye.